This is Richard Fowler. I'm John Kilpatrick with Oklahoma Aikido, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. And we're going to continue with the same thing we almost always do, the same thing we're studying, and that's leading. And a big part of leading, what you're trying to do in leading is keep your partner from seeing you, seeing what you're doing. So, Sensei, frequently people would say that he just disappeared. They thought he was teleporting or something. And that's the illusion that we want to create. And so with this basic exercise, this basic Tenkan movement that we do, if he stabs with a knife, this is our, just your basic Aikido Tenkan movement. And so the way people frequently do that, it's not precise what their hands are doing. And what we are doing with our hands is we're putting our hand up here in front of our partner's face so that he doesn't see what happens to us. And so the way we've been doing this is like a basic Aikido way, where you put your hand up and then I Tenkan back beside him and my hands are out here in front of him. And we were doing these experiments that I did, I think it's in the last video I put up, where where it's just a movement where he stabs and I come here beside him, and we got to playing with that, and through some fluke of movement or something, we realized that if you keep your hands in front of the guy's face, it's extremely effective. So for this then, let's see, back up just a little. For this then, when he attacks, I leave this hand in front of his face and then bring my hands and catch his head here. So I'm trapping his head. I never let him see anything. So if we do that a little faster, and I'll go ahead, Richard and I are both old and crippled up and we don't fall so much anymore, but Richard thinks he's up to taking the fall here, so we'll go do easy. But so he comes. Now, the thing to consider here is we always assume he's got a knife. So when you do these throws, I want to stop him here, but I have to follow him down. If I stop up here, just wait a second. If I stop up here and this knife pulls out, I'll probably get a nasty cut. So you have to, when you're throwing somebody, with most of the throws we like to use, you have to stay with them as they fall. You'll get seriously injured. But the details of this are, as he comes, my hands are making a circle here, your typical Aikido circle you see with your rolls and everything. And I Tenkan, and this hand stays in front of his eyes. This one comes over his head. In a real fight, I could catch his eyebrows or something. This one comes up and hits. We like to come under the arm. And the reason for this is it makes it difficult for him to cut back into me. If I come up here, which is more standard Aikido, then it's easy for him to kill me. And so then here, I pull his head down and back and step in and squat so that I get a lot of power in my throw, but mostly so that I don't get butchered here. And so this is one of the basic movements that we love immensely. And you have to go behind your partner. You'll notice that when I did this, notice I'm standing behind him. I want to be safely back here. If I'm out in this area, and this is a mistake that we made took us years to get corrected. But if I'm standing out here where I can hit him, which is what, you know, a lot of us love to do, he can slide his elbow through here and cut me. So if this blow is not effective, you can die there because you tried to hit him. And as you know, any of you who've watched sport fighting, you know, most of the time blows aren't effective. You know, he's going to move his head. He's going to try not to get hit. So, so you can do it to the back that way. You can do the same thing to the front. So if he does that, now, what I'm doing here is the same thing. I'm putting this hand over his eyes and then hitting him in the head with the forearm, and I'm catching this arm, and I caught it above. That time it'd be better beneath it for the same reason. I don't want to let him cut me. Let me do it from the other side. So, yeah, so you can see it from the other side. But this is best. I should get this. And here I've got my hand over his eyes. He can't see. I'm hitting him with this forearm, and then to throw this, I step through and squat. And how I'm going to throw him depends on how his body's moving. Then he was thrusting with a straight thrust. This work, I think this is a superb way to deal with a Yoko Manucci. So if he's striking Yoko Manucci, see, and I've got his eyes covered, I'm hitting here, I've got this trap so that he can't pull a knife through and hit me. For that to work, I have to be very close to him. If I'm out here and try to trap this, he can drag this elbow through and end my miserable existence. What a gift. So that works pretty well with Yoko Manucci, Shomanucci. With Shomanucci, if he strikes Shomanucci, I have to duck under this arm. So this hand, both hands come up in this circle, but then I have to come back here. But his eyes, he never gets to, I never let him see anything. And this also seems to work very well with haymakers and other types of blows. So this is a fun kind of experiment to do, that when your partner can't see and you're moving them around like that, you get totally disoriented. You can't tell where the person you've attacked is. You can't tell where you are in space. Falling is rather terrifying. It's quite an interesting experience.